Hello children, now we are moving on to the next lesson of our Magic Place textbook, and the lesson is Adolf. It's actually a very interesting story, a light-hearted story that is centered around a middle-income family consisting of about 5 members and the emotions that they go through when a wild baby rabbit is brought home. Okay, now before I start, I'll just give you a little bit information about the author. This story is written by D.H. Lawrence, who was an English novelist, poet, playwright, essayist, and painter. Lawrence grew up in a coal miner's family, and he is narrating one of his childhood experience when his father brought home a wild baby rabbit which he found on the way while returning home from work. Okay, now I'll just give you a summary of the story in short, so you'll have a fair idea about what the story is all about. Now, this background setting of the story is actually a warm spring morning, and this whole event is happening in a poor miner's house. The main characters of the story are the narrator, who at that time was a child. That means our author of the story, the narrator's father, who happened to be working in night shifts in a mine, the narrator's mother, who was a housewife, and the narrator's 2 sisters, and of course Adolf, the baby wild baby rabbit. So now the story is that the father, he works night shift and returns home tired and ready to bed when the children are wide awake and happy to greet the morning. So the father, he works in the night and he finishes duty early in the morning, and when he reaches home, what he sees is his children are all bright and are wide awake and happy to go about with their daily routines. He resents, actually the father, he resents going to bed at daybreak, but he is happy with the fact that after a dark night in the pit, he enjoys a bright new day as he walks back home. Okay, one fine morning, he returns with a wild baby rabbit that he found lying lifeless near its dead mother and siblings. The reactions of the mother when the new pet is brought home, how the narrator thinks of new ways of looking after the wild rabbit, and how sensitive enough he is to think from the rabbit's point of view. All this is what we come to know in the story. Then he perceives that it cannot respond to the love because it is still looking for the security of the kind of the life it had known. Because here he says, we come to, as we read the story, you will come to know like how the boy, he is quite mature enough, and the decisions he takes, how to go about taking care of the rabbit. He waits for the rabbit to become confident enough to venture out in its new world. So the theme or the lesson that we are learning from this story is, true caring is to give what others want to be given, not what we want to give. So this is actually what we at the end of the story, we will realize what we have to do when it comes to taking care of pets, and or not only taking care of pets, but taking care of even our family members, elderly family members, especially the elderly family members. Okay, now children, I will read out the lesson, and likewise I will go on explaining. This lesson actually runs into around 4 to 5 pages, so it will be broken up into modules, and likewise I will explain. So lesson 11, the lesson Adolf, page 69 of our Magic Place textbook. When we were children, our father often worked on the night shift. In springtime, he used to return home black and tired while we sat downstairs for breakfast. Then night met morning, face to face, and the meeting was not always happy. Perhaps it was painful for my father to see us gaily entering upon the day into which he dragged himself, soiled and weary. He did not like going to bed in the spring morning sunshine. So, here in the very first paragraph, the narrator tells that his father, he often, or very quite frequently, he worked night shifts. Okay, so now it was not a regular daytime job of a 9 to 5 daytime job. This person, the narrator's father, he happened to be working in the mines. And now here mines means the underground mines. It could be coal mines, diamond mines. And they were, mining out minerals from underground. And so he says that during the springtime, when the climate was really, really very, beautiful, and he wanted to enjoy it, but then because of his job, he was, very tired after his night shift, and as he used to walk home, he couldn't actually enjoy the scenic beauty of what was around him because of his job. It was tiring for him, and because of his tiredness, he was not able to enjoy the natural beauty around him. And then finally, when he reached home, he was black and tired, because maybe they were he was black and tired, black in the sense that his work was surrounded, or he was working in an environment where he had to be doing a lot of digging. So he was and moreover, it was not on the surface of the ground, it was underground. So he was covered with dust, and of course a miner's job is a very tiresome job. And then he says that in the mornings when his shift was over, he would come home. That time he would see his 3 lively children, all red, bright and happy, ready at the breakfast table to have their breakfast. And then he says that then night met morning face to face. So here what he means was, his father would finish the night shift, and the children here, they were all lively, energetic after a good night's sleep. So here he says night met morning face to face. So the only time he would see his children face to face was early in the mornings, when they would be at the breakfast table with their having their breakfast. And the meeting was not always happy, and he says that sometimes depending upon what the environment at his job scheme was, he could never say in what mood his father was when he would arrive home. Perhaps it was painful for my father to see us gaily entering upon the day into which he dragged himself, soiled and weary. So the narrator says that maybe the father, he was actually a little jealous of the fact that here in the morning his children were all lively, energetic, and ready to enjoy their day. And here he was at the beginning of the day, or in the morning, he was all tired and soiled because of his job. He did not like going to bed in the spring morning sunshine. And the thing that he hated was, going to bed in the morning, and especially in a climate like this, or during the spring season, where it was, very, very lovely to be enjoying the beautiful scenic beauty. Second paragraph. but sometimes he was happy because of his long walk through the dewy fields in the first daybreak. He loved the open morning after a night down the pit. He watched every bird, every stir in the trembling in the trembling grass, and answered the calls of the birds. So here the narrator says, but sometimes after his tiresome day in the underground mines, when he would sometimes return, when he would be returning back home, walking through the open fields, enjoying the beauty, he was he would really enjoy or take advantage of the beautiful surroundings around him. He would watch the birds, and he would not only watch the birds, he would even imitate the calls of the birds, and sometimes he would enjoy himself seeing the light breeze flowing over the dewy grass, and the manner in which the grass swayed to the moments of the breeze. So all this he did enjoy sometimes when he was not in a foul mood. Third paragraph. One sunny morning we were all sitting at the table when we heard a heavy tread. He passed the window darkly, and we heard him go into the scullery. But soon afterwards he came into the kitchen. We felt at once that he had something to tell us. No one spoke. We watched his black face for a second. So he says that every day this was what they were seeing. They would be at the table, and then their father would be returning back after work, very, very dead and tired. And then he says that one fine morning, this was the same thing they saw. Their father had returned back from work, and he was, because of his tiredness, he was walking with a heavy tread. Okay, his footsteps were very heavy. And then he says that he went into the scullery. Scullery is nothing but a small room next to the kitchen where dishes were washed. In other words, you could say a work area next to the kitchen. And then he went there, and within a few minutes he returned back. And these children, they were all watching the moments of their father, and when he returned back, they immediately knew that the father had something to tell the children. And so they were watching his dark, tired face. And page 70, "Give me a drink," he said. My mother hastily poured out his tea. He went to pour it out into his saucer, but instead of drinking, he suddenly put something on the table among the teacups. A tiny brown rabbit. A small rabbit sitting against the bread, as still as if it were a made thing. So now here he says that since he was tired, in the mornings when he returned, he would immediately ask his wife to pour out tea, and it was a routine. He would pour out the tea into his saucer because it was hot. He would blow it and drink. But today he did pour out the tea in the saucer, but instead of drinking, he suddenly put something on the table among the teacups. Remember, the children were all sitting around their dining table waiting for their breakfast, and then they saw that the father put something on the table, and it happened to be a brown rabbit, and all of them were just watching it intently. And for a moment, when the father placed the brown rabbit on the table, it did not make any movement, and it seemed like as if it were a made thing. Here it looked like as if it was just an object, not a living object, a lifeless object kept there in front of the children on the dining table. So children, I'll end my first module here.